yourself.
Hey everybody, it's another episode of Go Flix Yourself. My name is Ben Konowitz. With me as always is the Milli Vanilli to my Eminem.
Did you say Midley Vanilli?
Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli.
Okay, I mean, you can't see right now, but I'm lip syncing.
Lip talking. And to my left, we're going to say that this gentleman is the Mark Wahlberg when he was Marky Mark.
Oh, and the
to
Funky
my
Bunch.
Eminem.
I don't like
Nate
certain
Loucks.
people.
You love wearing tighty whities and baggy pants.
Listen, don't blame him if I look like that when he was wearing those Calvin Klein stuff.
Ooh.
Looked good.
Ooh.
He looked good.
Ooh.
Also, didn't he blind a guy?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Doesn't like certain people.
Yeah. I don't know if that was before Marky Mark or if it was
I think he was
during
like a
Marky Mark.
pretty wild, like 16 or 17-year-old.
When he was a teenager,
Yeah.
he did some horrible things and actually physically hurt somebody for a long term. But he's a very well celebrated actor. We should all just forgive him.
Well, I'm not sure about that.
So we shouldn't forgive him?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you're the Mel Gibson fan here. So.
Oh, how dare you. Hey, guys, welcome to Go Flix Yourself.
Good to see you. Good to see you guys.
Second episode of the new year.
Yeah, it's a movie podcast, in case you didn't know. We love talking about movies. We talk about the last movies we saw. We assign movies to each other to watch. We talk about some movie trailers.
Well, we talk about movie trailers, Brad. That's a great point. And tonight we didn't. We talked about a series.
We haven't talked about anything.
Well, no, I was tricked.
Oh, yeah, because this is the first time we've ever watched a trailer for a TV series.
This is a TV podcast.
No, but normally you tell me that, like, hey, this is how this relates to a movie, and that's why I watch.
Normally you tell me if we're watching a TV series trailer instead of a movie trailer, but this time you pulled the rug out from under me, and I didn't know to watch a trailer.
Is this a terrible Eric Cartman?
No, it's a great Ben Konowitz.
I don't sound like that.
No. Nate, was this accurate?
It was very good.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, my goodness. You love it.
What's the stupid
It's been so cold here.
It is. I don't know where you guys are, but it is like negative.
The wind
450 degrees.
The wind
here.
chill in Northwest Indiana, where we record, is tonight, as we are recording, negative 25.
You said, because I saw you, Ben, of course, I don't know if you know this, Ben's uniform for everyday life is a T-shirt and shorts.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it is negative 40, and you're still wearing a T-shirt and shorts outside.
I went to the arcade. I own an arcade with my partner, Ryan Hart. He's a great person.
Your life partner?
My life partner. So I went to the arcade tonight, checking out a couple things, play some pinball, and I wore a black T-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. And it was negative 25 out.
Yeah, and so
now I will clarify.
But your nostrils literally froze while you were talking to me.
It was a very weird sensation. But I will tell you, if you're listening, maybe Mitch, and you've never experienced negative 25, here's a couple things that happen immediately. You walk outside, and your extremities start to get feel pain within about 30 seconds. So you really can only be outside exposed for about 30 seconds before things really start to hurt. But also, when you get back inside and warm up, let's say you walk into a very warm, everything then hurts tremendously more.
It still hurts. Yeah.
You need it to be a very easy transition. But no, I've always worn. I'm a space heater of a person.
And he rarely wears jeans.
Do you know what also happens? I noticed when it is negative 25 out, your nipples got really hard.
Well,
his nipples are almost always hard.
Like
they are.
Room temperature, my nipples get pretty hard because you know what? They're sensitive.
They are.
I'm a sensitive boy.
I'm not gonna lie.
His nipples
it's one of my favorite things about you.
They go from being able to cut glass to being able to cut diamonds.
It's true. Right now, I just reached. They're hard. They are hard right now.
Of course they are.
Because I'm here.
Well, yeah, it's because I'm recording the show. My favorite part of the week.
No, it's because the basement's like a fucking igloo.
Okay, calm down.
This is not a basement. This is our studio.
This is our podcast studio.
In a basement.
This is a real podcast. This is a real podcast.
Come up to your goddamn studio. You shit on it all the time. We built this for the show, and you constantly do.
If this was a basement, would we have an Air Bud poster up there? No, this is a freaking studio.
Yeah.
What's behind you, Nate?
Yeah, it's a curtain.
No, it's a curtain.
What kind of curtain?
A studio curtain.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck you. Anyway, what's your dumb fucking sponsor?
Do we have a sponsor? Or are we out of sponsors?
Are we out of sponsors?
Are we out of sponsors? Are you kidding me? There's fucking new snacks every day. If you know this, that's because you follow Brad's Junk on Instagram. That's at Look at Brad's Junk on Instagram.
God.
And you know.
By the way, it is amazing how many people you have that follow that.
Yeah,
it is ridiculous.
How many followers do you have right now?
I just passed 14.3 thousand.
It's ridiculous.
I don't love the 0.3 there.
That's how Instagram does it.
No. I like that you can just say, hey, about 14. Like that means that you logged in before you got here.
It is. You check that. You check that, don't you?
Yeah, I got to keep track of my followers, baby.
But
what?
My followers, baby.
Okay. Okay. Well, no, it's like Christopher Walken almost.
I gotta keep track of my followers, baby. You gotta watch on Instagram because the snacks are top notch.
That's not.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
No, that's
2 years.
not.
2 years. 2 years. Right now. Do it fast.
Hey, having a good time.
Oh,
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, way better. Good job.
So much better than Brad.
You're working it as you go, aren't you?
I was like trying to
you
remember
didn't
it.
even remember what Christopher Walken sounds
No,
like.
I really don't.
Yeah, fucking asshole.
I'm walking here.
That's what? That's like typical New York. Hey, audition like you're going to be in a New York play.
That's his favorite.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Right. That's what I says.
Oh!
He comes into a room. He's like, hey, I'm Christopher Walken here.
Hey,
There's dices here.
Andrew Dice Clay. Little Miss Muffet. Oh! Go fuck yourself. Anyway, what is the tremendous sponsor that we have? The person that wrote the check is
Ben, let me ask you something.
Nate never tires of the joke. I have been tired. Brad, let me just tell you, I'm no longer from now on. I'm never gonna make fun of this little stupid this setup. I'm not gonna do it. I will just let you know that just from me to you, Nate, I've been tired of this since 2014, maybe 20, like for like years. It's been.
I don't think we've been doing the podcast since 2014.
No.
It's been. I don't care. It's been exhausting since you've done it the first time. Very first time. Hey, let me tell you about a memory. And I'm like, okay.
hey, Ben. Let me ask you something.
And I honestly, it's like I hope this bit doesn't stick. And here we are, 201 episodes later, and fucking there it is again. You can't come up with any other way to be like, lazy.
Ben,
Jesus Christ.
what's your relationship like
Who is this for?
What's your relationship
At this
like?
point, though, who is this for? The 6 people that actually like you that listen. Alex Pappas, Mitch, for fun, some fucking reason loves you, and John Cessna and Charlie, maybe Luke. I gotta ask Luke if he likes this. Mike Flores, maybe. Who is this for?
What's your relationship like with Hello Kitty?
I don't have one currently.
Why? What happened?
Why? Really?
What happened?
What? We didn't used to have one.
What do you mean?
Did you guys have like a falling out?
Yeah,
or?
like who did she hurt you? Did
Such a false.
you cheat on Hello Kitty?
What happened?
I said goodbye, Kitty.
Well,
Nah.
yeah, sometimes you just got to know your boundaries.
What are you doing?
Well, what's funny is that don't look over here.
You're talking. We look at you.
Yeah, but he wasn't looking at me. He was looking at the bag.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's a little inside baseball. Brad comes over to the house. We talk a little bit before the show.
We catch up as friends.
Most time, I mean this. Most times, like 90% of the time, he leaves the sponsor out on the table, and as I'm just walking by, he goes, "Hey, don't look at that. Keep it in your fucking bag if you don't want me to
I don't
look at
bring a bag
You
over.
leave it on the table, and you
I know,
go,
but
hey, don't look at it.
You put it in the most obvious spot, and you're mad at us for looking at it that you left right in front of us. You know,
You don't have to look at everything.
Like label facing out. You're like, it's almost like he's trying to get us to look, and then he gets mad at us.
and then he gets really mad. Yeah.
don't look at it.
But literally, I looked at you, and you were mad at me. For
You were looking at the bag. I saw your eyes.
But you're talking.
My
about
eyes
it
are up here,
right
Nate.
now.
My eyes are up here. Stop looking at my
But you were
snack
getting
sack.
ready to talk about it. I thought that was okay at that point. You're talking about the sponsor to look at the
It
sponsor.
doesn't matter. You're gonna see.
Hey,
when I
Nate,
put
what
it
time
in
are
here.
we at? Is it an hour?
Okay, so what's really fun about this actually is that
No, I'm not having fun.
this is the 3rd episode in a row where I have brought
Goldfish.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see the package.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, everyone knows goldfish package when you see it. You can spot it from a mile away. It's like seeing a Pringles can. You know what that is.
Have you guys ever tried the ketchup Pringles?
You know we
Yeah,
have,
we
Nate.
know.
You know.
You know.
so good.
All right. Anyway, it's a new goldfish. That's all I'm going to say. Don't look at the flavor on the front. Just know that it is a new flavor, and we're going to try them out here. Just grab the bag. The front is facing me, so. Don't look at the front of the bag. Just give Nate some goldfish snackaroos, and don't look at the front of the bag. Fuck.
Can I eat them yet?
Yeah, these are real fucking
It's like
good.
like graham crackers. Don't chew in the mic. Please,
These are good. These are real good.
Don't chew in the mic.
You're good.
I'm sorry, guys. He does this, and I can't.
Hey, I don't think you tried them yet, did you?
They did. I had 3.
You did.
Graham crackers.
Wow, these are great.
Yeah, these are. I'm not used to the non-cheese goldfish, but these are very good.
That's one of my favorite things actually I've gotten in a while.
These actually, you know what they taste like? They're like graham crackers with crunch berries on them.
You're 100%
Yeah,
right, and I
actually,
wouldn't be
yes.
surprised if that's partially how they got the flavor. These are strawberry shortcake goldfish. It's a new flavor. For some reason, Hello Kitty is the sponsor behind them. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get the Hello Kitty part.
I don't know if maybe there's like a famous strawberry shortcake link to Hello Kitty or what. But I believe that these are out right now because it's like Valentine's Day theme because it's a red bag and whatnot. So
It's Oops All Goldfish.
I would love to have Oops All Goldfish.
That's just normal.
Pour some milk on them.
Ew.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, these are really fucking good.
No, actually, those are really good.
Yeah, these are fantastic. I
But
love
Nate,
them.
you're right. They do taste like the aftertaste is crunch berries.
It'd be like if you
It's graham cracker forward,
My
and then it leaves you with a residual of a cranberry.
if you sprinkled
my mouth isn't bleeding though, so
yeah,
it's not.
the top of my roof is intact.
if you sprinkled crunchberry dust on graham crackers, this is what you
I
get.
really like that. That was a good snack. You haven't brought a bad snack in a long time.
Oh, that's good.
Don't why.
I know,
Next
but
week's
sometimes
gonna
it's gonna be like,
here's puke flavored nachos. the Brax people are at it
some
again.
pickle gummies.
Yeah. Ugh.
I would never bring pickle gummies.
Hey Brad.
Yeah.
What's the last movie you saw, buddy?
Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad.
Brad. What's the last movie you saw, buddy?
The last movie I saw was Heartburn, which is a 1986 movie directed by Mike Nichols, who also directed The Graduate. And it's written by Nora Ephron, based on a novel that she wrote. Nora Ephron being the writer of When Harry Met Sally and Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail, the latter of two, which she also directed.
And she's written a lot of
Romantic comedies.
yeah,
Yes.
and like novels
Famously.
too, right? Like
Yes, yeah, very, very famous writer.
Rom-com. Oh my God. I'm just now. Holy shit.
Are you serious?
That's
no, he's not serious.
fucking crazy.
I don't know if you're joking.
He's joking.
Oh my God.
He's not an
Okay.
idiot.
Rom-com.
Wow.
What the fuck? That's awesome. Anyway, continue.
What the fuck?
Wait,
That's awesome. I love. We
Wait
took
until
two
he
long
learns-
words and shorten them.
Wait
into
until he
one
learns
word.
about sci-fi.
What do you mean?
I don't want to.
Oh my God. Whoa.
So it stars Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson, and it's the story of how these two people fall in love and get married and have kids and whatnot. But it's a very grounded, down-to-earth kind of practical approach to it. It doesn't have the same romantic comedy feel necessarily that her other movies do, which is partially why I think it ended up getting fairly panned by critics. The interesting thing is the book that she wrote, that the story is it's actually inspired by the relationship that she had with Carl Bernstein, one half of Woodward and Bernstein, the two reporters who cracked the Deep Throat story about Nixon and all that's depicted in All the President's Men. She was married to Carl Bernstein for a while. He cheated on her while she was pregnant with their second kid, and this movie.
That's a great guy.
This movie follows that trajectory, and so it's a little bit more of like it's just not as upbeat, or as like fun or funny as other movies, and I wonder if that's kind of why people didn't dig it as much.
That, signing up for one thing, getting another.
But the performances are really good at Meryl Streep, of course. You can't go wrong with Meryl Streep. Jack Nicholson is good in it as well. But yeah, it's
Stockard Channing's in it.
She
I
is.
like Stockard Channing.
Yeah.
She's very good.
Rizzo. And so it's I was kind of surprised because I didn't realize that it was a Nora Ephron script when I was watching it. I looked it up. I was like, oh yeah, that. And it just feels a little bit more subdued. And it's honestly, I wonder if that's kind of like what attracted Mike Nichols to it. It's kind of it's the kind of romantic comedy that you would expect a director like Mike Nichols, how you would expect him to tell a romantic comedy.
Talk a little bit about Mike Nichols and what else he's done that like maybe listeners would know.
So I mean, the most famous thing that he did was The Graduate, obviously, and that's that was a super that was an Oscar winner, and it's kind of like one of the definitive movies of that generation.
He also did another one of my favorite films from the 90s, The Birdcage.
Yes, The Birdcage is also a fantastic movie. But yeah, was a very very famous director, and he also has a history in improv too. He was part of a famous duo. Mike Nichols and Elaine May were very famous.
Oh, Nichols and May. I didn't know that was.
It's Mike Nichols.
Didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
There you go.
In this film, though, Brad, in Heartburn, there is one of Ben's favorite actors.
Oh, yes.
About him all the time. Makes his debut in this.
I was
Were you
surprised.
gonna get there?
I saw it, and I was like, oh, but I'm gonna I can't wait to tell Ben.
Who is it, Ben?
One of my favorite actors of all time.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Is it Emil Hirsch?
No.
Is it Jai Courtney?
No.
No.
Sam-
Jack Courtney.
Is it Sam Worthington?
No. These are all great, boring choices, though.
No, those are the people I hate.
Oh, no,
I-
this-
No, this is somebody you genuinely love.
Oh.
You talk about him all the time.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. You might. I would say you probably admire his lifestyle.
Yeah. I mean, it's like one of the things where you're like on your vision board in your bedroom. I've seen his picture up there.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry?
Kevin Spacey.
Such an asshole.
Yeah, no, I actually looked it up because he does have a small role in this.
It's his
and I was
debut,
surprised. Yeah,
yeah.
it was his very first role.
Which is interesting because I see here.
Wait, real question. Whatever happened to Kevin Spacey?
I don't want to spoil it.
Okay, well,
Natasha
the
Lyonne's in
fourth
this as
season
well.
of House of Cards right now. She's doing really good.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she is.
She plays a baby.
No, she's not.
Rachel's niece.
Rachel's niece.
Yeah, she's in a very, very small role.
Is she a baby?
Yeah, she must have been.
I mean,
4 years old.
So
Yeah.
this film was made in 1986, and she was born in 1979. So yeah, she was probably 7.
5 or 6.
6, 7.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like where.
Hey, did you?
Meryl Streep's daughter, Mamie Gummer's in her as well.
Is there-
Yeah, her daughter plays her daughter. In
Is
it.
there a child actress that goes like, "Hey, I'm walking here"?
There was a little young girl who was smoking a cigarette.
Yes,
Yeah, so-
of course. Perfect.
But no, yeah, I didn't even clock her. So like, she must not be like. Super
I'll see if I can
noticeable.
find a picture of her in the film because maybe. But it sounds like it's at the bottom of
Wow,
the list.
Brad, I
so.
can't believe you didn't clock
I
a
bet-
7-year-old
I know,
Natasha
that
Lyonne.
you would know it was her.
I thought you were in the industry.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of those things where like it's a background role where you don't see her. Like,
Oh, I'm sure.
for
it is
example,
a very
the
small
kid who
role.
plays Averman in the Mighty Ducks movies is in Home Alone. But
Yeah, isn't he the kid that goes through the trucks?
no,
The van?
no, that's a different actor.
Oh, never?
He plays one of the kids who's in Paris when their family's in Paris. He's in the background, and you can see him briefly. And there was apparently a scene where he actually did have a speaking part, but it got cut. But he's still there in the background.
You
Lingering.
just kept bringing up Mighty Ducks, that's why.
He hadn't done Mighty Ducks yet. I don't think.
Both in Oh, you're right. Home Alone 90.
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks,
Ducks was
93,
92, I think.
92, 93.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, what else did you watch?
I also rewatched The Holdovers.
Oh.
My mom hadn't seen it, and she wanted
Such
to
a
watch
good
it.
film.
Yeah.
Is it even better?
Does
on
it
the second
hold
or third?
over?
No, is it even better on the second or third watch?
Fuck you.
Come on.
I honestly do think that I liked it better the second time. Not that I didn't already love it the first time, because it was one of my favorite movies of the year. It was top 10, but I was able to absorb it a lot more and just to appreciate a lot more about it.
Sometimes I don't know if the studios are paying somebody on X or Twitter to get it in my algorithm, because it's constantly in my algorithm for some reason. The Holdovers was.
I think partially it's because they are promoting, and that
yeah,
kind of thing.
and so it'd be on the side,
Yeah,
as
of
trending. But oftentimes when I see those things, it's because a film's not going to do very well, and they're trying to. But this was worth everything.
Yeah.
I thought
And it's getting a lot of awards attention right now too.
It
so
should.
I'm sure that's why is a big part of it. Yeah, I rewatched The Holdovers, and it definitely holds up.
Is that it?
No, I did a double feature in theaters pretty much right after we recorded the previous episode, because I was still doing some catch up for like my proper year end.
So what did you like better, Barbie or Oppenheimer?
I saw American Fiction, which is a new movie with Jeffrey Wright in the lead.
People love this film.
It is fantastic, and it's very much like
People are saying.
People are saying.
it's almost like if Jeffrey Wright was like in a Paul Giamatti-esque role. That's kind of the character he plays in a way. He plays an author who he's not really like selling stuff very well, and he's very frustrated by the state of Black literature, especially because there's a popular book that's being sold by an author played by Issa Rae, and he's sick of the idea that Black books, Black stories and whatnot always constantly seem to have to tap into the poverty and the drugs and the crime and all stuff, and he's really frustrated about it. And so as like an act of like, okay, well, fuck you, he writes this like totally bullshit like novel that's like in the same style with like poor grammar and like about this guy who's like a thug and everything, and of course
wins everything.
immediately gets a book deal. Like everyone wants to buy it and publish it and make it a movie deal and all that, and he's just like, fucking hell. So it's very, very funny. There's some sharp satire in it. Jeffrey Wright is fantastic in it. I mean, everybody in this movie
I feel
is
like
really
Jeffrey
good.
Wright. I really love it.
Out on a limb, Jeffrey Wright can do no wrong.
Well, but what I love about Jeffrey Wright is he hasn't had a ton of like vehicles where he is the main guy.
No, not at all.
and he's older. He was born in 1965, but I love how his career is just kind of simmered up, right? A slow rise
honestly,
up,
he has
and
kind of
well deserved.
kind of a similar trajectory to that of Paul Giamatti. I think that Jeffrey Wright has maybe had more note for less period of time, because I think only maybe in like the past decade is maybe when Jeffrey Wright has kind of risen up and like people know his name.
I mean,
I first saw him in Westworld. That's where I was
same here.
exposed to him.
He was in Game Night as like a third detective there, right? The movie I talked about last week.
He's the guy who is supposed to be the fake detective who like is introducing the game.
Yeah. And so
but he comes in like 3/4 through the film.
Yeah.
Has a very small role.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the level of roles in
And
2018 he was getting. So
Game Night was what? 2018?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So that's a pretty big resurgence.
And now he's Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can see American Fiction, I believe it's wide in theaters now. It should be everywhere. Very funny. Also has a great emotional core to it as well. It's the best thing about it is all of the characters feel so rich, and like you love all of the characters in the movie despite their flaws. Sterling K. Brown is also in it. He gives a particularly understated performance that is fantastic. But yeah, loved it. Very good. Please go out of your way to see it.
The director of that, Cord Jefferson.
Yes, he's a newcomer.
I was gonna say he's a newcomer.
Yeah,
huh?
this is his first movie.
First name is Cord?
Cord.
Good for him.
But good for him. I mean, right? First movie.
No,
I mean, he's done
for
things
having
in
that
Hollywood,
name.
but
Cord. So very
pretty
strange
amazing.
and
Good for him.
wonderful name.
Yeah. And then the other thing I saw was The Zone of Interest, which is the latest movie from Jonathan Glazer, who's done some peculiar stuff. The one that you might have heard of is Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson. Very strange sci-fi thriller. But this movie knocked me on my ass. It like just totally threw me for a loop because it is a tough watch. It is haunting. The movie is about a German family who live in a house. The father is the commandant for the Nazis, and the house is situated right next to Auschwitz. And when I say right next to Auschwitz, I mean the wall that separates their garden from Auschwitz is the only thing that separates their house from Auschwitz. And so it follows this German family, and the thing that is just so...
It's like a real story.
Yeah, it's based on a true story. And it's the thing that is so just hard hitting about it, and this happens all throughout the entire movie too, is the way that they just so nonchalantly and with such mundane depiction show this family just living their life like a normal family. Like if this were just like a family drama and you were following them doing whatever, and there's the fucking
You just hear like screams.
no, literally.
Oh my god!
Throughout the entire movie, you'll hear screams. You'll hear muffled gunshots. You see the glow of the fire burning because of the ovens and the gas chambers and everything. And it's the entire movie. It's just like all underlying right there while it's focusing on this family, and it's just so cold, and like it takes like the heinousness and the evil that there is there to another level by having such a normal family just living
an insane juxtaposition.
just unbelievable. It's so well done though. I'll never watch it again probably.
That's fair.
But yeah, man, it's just I was just like
so feel good movie of the year.
Yeah, and there's a great ending to it too. I won't spoil it because it's like you won't expect like what happened. It's not like it's a twist or anything like that.
Well, the Nazis lose.
But it's something it's done that Jonathan Glazer chose to do, and like the juxtaposition of certain imagery and things like that. It's just it was stellar. It shot right onto my top 10 list after I saw it. But yeah,
what's that called again?
The Zone of Interest.
Oof.
And that's I
I
think
haven't even heard of this.
Yeah, it's just now getting a limited release. And
where
then
did you hear about this? I mean, obviously you do what you do.
Yeah, I mean it had been getting awards buzz, and I
Gotcha.
heard that it was very good. Thankfully, it was one of those movies where like I was able to stay in the dark about it quite a bit, where I knew that it had something to do with Nazis, but I didn't really know what like the plot or anything like that. And honestly, like the movie doesn't even really have like a plot per se. Like that's the thing is like you're just watching like this family like
their life unfold with the backdrop being something
exactly.
so horrific. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's
Did you have to pause it at all? Was it that tough to watch? Where it was like
I saw it in theater.
Oh, gotcha.
So
did you pause it at all?
They
or?
wouldn't let me.
You tried.
I asked. I
You
said,
raised your hand?
Hey, can I pause this?
Did you raise your hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not at an angle.
Right.
Dumb joke.
So yeah, Zone of Interest. Don't
check it out.
No, but
yeah. Take my word for it. Like vote for it for all the awards. But like you don't need to see it. Just know that it's amazing.
no, it's it's very very
powerful.
good.
I'm sure.
Very very good.
Is that
That's and that
what was it? Wait, you said double feature, right?
yeah, it's American Fiction.
Oh,
That's the other
sorry.
one
Yeah.
I also watched some TV.
Nope.
Where'd you watch?
Thanks,
No.
Nate.
No. We're
I
already over. We're already over.
I like television.
Over what? I'm over you. That's
We're
for
over
sure.
time. We're at an hour and 10 right
Well,
now.
guess what? The two shows I watched are actually tied to movies. So
Okay.
middle fingers in the air. Just don't care.
Not at me though. At him.
Yeah, of course. Love you, Nate.
I watched so many movies, and guess what? I'm not gonna say what I watched.
I watched Marvel's Echo.
How is that? I haven't watched it yet.
It is surprisingly very good.
Because the last couple they've done have not been great.
It's surprisingly very good. It doesn't quite feel.
I like her. I don't know her at all, but I like her.
It doesn't quite feel like a necessary piece of storytelling, and that's partially the point because it's the first series in what Marvel is calling their Marvel Spotlight series, and they're going to use that label for shows where you don't need to have seen a bunch of stuff in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You can kind of just watch it and not really need to understand. This one, it feels a little bit muddled at first because the first episode they have to do some recapping since the character
from the Hawkeye stuff?
debuted in Hawkeye.
Which I didn't dislike Hawkeye, actually.
Yeah, and they do a pretty decent job of like giving you an idea of who the character is because the whole first episode basically provides her origin, shows some of the Hawkeye stuff, fills in the gaps, and then like expands into like the story that ties to her family and also her Choctaw Nation origins because the character is of the Choctaw people, and that's actually one of the best things about the story and enhances the character who's in the comics because they make her Choctaw background such an integral part of the character and the family dynamic that she has that like that's what makes the story really shine. And so it's only 5 episodes, and the way that the narrative is structured, especially the first 3 episodes, the way it lays out, it's done in a really clever way where once you get to the final episode and it ties certain things together, it's really well done. And I
can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it was a lot. I think you would like it a lot if you watch it. So
I will.
Yeah, I think it's worth seeing. And then I watched Ted, which is the new Peacock series that is the
I watched the first episode of that.
prequel adaptation of the Ted movies that Seth MacFarlane did.
Yeah, it was funny.
What did you think? You liked it?
I did. I thought it was really funny.
It is. The episodes are a little long.
It's sitcom-y, right?
Yeah.
They do a good
it's-
job of translating it into sitcom.
It's like a contemporary, edgy version of a 90s sitcom
Yep.
in a way.
Yep.
No laugh track. It's single camera, so it feels just like the movie. But it's a prequel series, so it's followed Michael Wahlberg's character when he's a teenager, and he's obviously friends with Ted. And they go to high school together, and they discover weed, and it has all the hallmarks that you would expect of Seth MacFarlane to have. It has a little more heart than I was expecting.
I thought so too. Yeah.
And you'll find even in later episodes if you keep watching too. Alana Ubach is especially great as the mom.
Yeah.
She's doing this thing where she's putting on a voice, but it's not cartoonish enough to be like silly, but it still gives her like a funny character dynamic. Scott Grimes, on the other hand, really got on my nerves because he's always fucking yelling.
I when I saw that first episode, I'm like, I know that character, I know that actor, but I can't figure out who it was, and I had to look it up. Like Scott Grimes has gotten old.
Yeah, he has. And I get what they're doing here because they kind of want to give him a Carol Connor vibe,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say,
where he's like supposed to be that angry dad, but it just gets grating after a while because there doesn't feel like there's any dynamic to
Also,
him.
Scott Grimes is an incredibly talented voice actor.
Yes.
But if he picks a voice that is grating and goes with it as the character, like that can get.
It's not even the voice that's grating. It's the fact that he's always
volume?
Yes, he's almost 90% of his dialogue. He's yelling like, "Oh my god, I'm just a fucking Boston father," and it just gets old real fast.
And he doesn't have anything endearing about him like the Al Bundys of this world either. Like from the first episode or two that I watched, it's just, there was nothing there that made you like him.
What is
either.
this? What streaming service is this?
It's on Peacock. Yeah,
Peacock.
but but it's very funny. I think it's worth watching. I was thoroughly
I'm
entertained
looking
by it.
forward to
There's a
watching
lot of really just laugh out loud moments. And I did, even though it has Seth MacFarlane's hallmarks, I feel like he kind of restrained himself because
Is he the showrunner of this or no?
he was executive producer, director, and writer of every episode.
Okay,
So
this is his vehicle.
yeah, it's totally his. And I feel like he kind of restrained himself because Ted had a little too many Family Guy-esque elements.
Yeah.
And I think here he tried to keep it more contained to like a proper sitcom as opposed to doing some of his Family Guy jokes. And there's little hints of it here and there, but it's not quite as overwhelming as it was in the Ted movies, I think. But Ted's hilarious.
I also thought Ted looked good, like the digital. Like,
man, he looks surprisingly good.
I
like,
thought so too.
Stellar. There was never a shot where I was like, "Oh, this is a cheap TV version of Ted." He looks great throughout the entire series. It was I was very impressed.
Does that speak to the fact that the movies came out years ago, and so the CGI has changed so much that it's cheaper to do it even better than it was back then?
Probably.
It's probably cost less to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure
You
they've
know?
advanced technology.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So,
I think so.
so Brad says AI is good. Okay. We were gonna get
And that's it. That's all I saw.
Nate, how about you, buddy?
I don't know if we have time to talk about what we talked about.
Again,
It's just
we're gonna skip me tonight. It's fine. Brad had to talk about 2 TV shows, so I watched 5 movies, and I really won't talk about any of them. But Nate, what did you see?
all right. The first thing I saw was a documentary on the Netflix.
Can I just say something real quick? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Nate, because I do respect you and your time.
I'm gonna just interrupt you real quick. So when you say what you watched, I'll go thumbs up, thumbs down, and you'll say one of that, and we'll move on.
Okay.
And that's how we'll gain the time back
you know what?
that we lost.
Yeah,
from
because
Brad.
if there's one thing that's super entertaining on a podcast, first of all, it's hand signals.
No,
and also
I'm gonna say those
also
words.
cutting down on the talking. Cutting down on the talking. Is
Well,
what
we're already over time, and you chose to talk
You don't
about
even
2
know
TV
what
shows.
time we're at.
We're at 57 minutes.
Nate, what time are we at?
30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
way over.
Hey, fuck you. And I bet you 2 of the movies you watched are probably fucking Bandits and Farts and Predator versus Nuts.
Bandits and Farts.
Oh, you
Low key, one of the best films of the year. And I'm going to tell you why. Well, I was going to tell you why. And now what? Can't talk about it? Okay,
And
cool.
by the way, Predator what versus
Nuts?
He would watch that in a heartbeat.
I know he would. I'll bet you've already seen it.
I wrote it.
And the thing is, it's just Ben using a Predator action figure and just hitting his fucking ball sack and posting it on TikTok.
I do that.
Doo-doo.
Under
Nate, what did you watch? A documentary?
Under the pseudonym.
I did watch a documentary on the Netflix.
Gotta finish this joke. Go ahead.
Sorry. Nope. That's
No.
no.
It's your time.
It was going to be
No, say it.
Ben-ator.
That's it.
That was it. And that's why I wanted you to skip
Nate?
over it.
Back to you.
The live report was bad. Back to you.
From the studio back to me. All right.
Back to you.
I watched a documentary that came out in 2023, if you guys remember, a biographical documentary film called American Symphony. Have you seen this?
American Symphony?
Yep.
No, I haven't seen this.
So this is a film about a year in the life of John Batista.
Oh, okay.
Who is the musician? Most people know him as a musician that led the Stephen Colbert.
Still does, I think, right?
No, he's done.
Who is it now?
It's one of his guys in his band, but he's actually gotten quite a bit of success. I
didn't realize he left.
Yep, he did leave. And so what it ends up though, so the documentary sets out to follow him in a year in the life, kind of. As I'm a big fan of musical documentaries. I like one of my favorite documentaries was done on the Foo Fighters, and it just kind of shows them through Taylor Hawkins' drug addiction and stuff like that, and how much they care about each other.
What's that Foo Fighters documentary called? I haven't seen it.
I don't know, but I'll tell you afterwards. I'd have to look it up. I don't know what the name is. But it's really good.
It's a great title.
Come on.
It's a good title.
Brad was so mad, and he looked at me like, I'm not going to give you this.
It's better than Ben-ator.
Yeah, it's way better.
Okay, why do you bring up my failures when we can just focus on my successes?
The biggest problem is that Ben-ator sounds like that's what you would do for like a campaign for Congress.
I made it up really quickly, okay? They all can't be winners, but sometimes
Don't we fucking know it?
come up with like
All right, so
I believe that the Foo Fighters documentary is the one from 2000 and it might be Sound City, but I don't think it is Sound City.
No, Sound City. Sound City isn't about Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
I've seen that. It's great though.
It's
My Heroes.
It might be. I'll find
Just
it.
shut the fuck up.
That was not bad either.
It's Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters Back and Forth.
Okay.
It's really, really good though.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out because I love Foo Fighters and I didn't know there was a full documentary.
Yeah. And so it follows them on tour. Taylor Hawkins at this time has a relapse. He gets put in the hospital. And so actually, when Taylor Hawkins died, this was the thing I thought about most was this has been a a battle and a part of this band's history for a long time, and I have to imagine it hurt them deeply because Dave Grohl particularly felt that deeply in 2011 when this documentary was made. But this one, again, so it's going to follow him in a year of the life, and what happens is his long-term partner, who is an author herself, I'm going to butcher her name, but it's Suleika Jawoud, I think is her last name, and she gets leukemia. And so it is about their story, about their love story, about how they're dealing with it. And I don't know if you know anything about John Batista, but he is I put him almost at the level of Mr. Rogers. He is as glowing and encouraging and as kind as anybody I've ever seen. And when anybody at that level of kindness and I think optimism goes through darkness, as leukemia is, it is just an interesting juxtaposition. It is a beautiful documentary. I would recommend this to anybody. It is on Netflix. It's called American Symphony. You may cry as I did. If not, you will probably feel things. But it's really good.
I hadn't heard about this, but yeah, I know John Batiste.
It's winning some awards even. Like it is very good.
I know him from the Colbert Show as well, but he also was one of the composers for Pixar's Soul as well.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, great score.
He is a savant. I kid you not. He is so stinking talented, and his wife, I think is his wife now, is as well. But navigating this illness, so interesting fact about this, and I won't get too deep into their story, but they met at band camp in high school. So just really interesting, and so what was a documentary set off to do a year in the life was still a year in the life, but it really took a turn.
Maybe like the worst year.
Yeah. And so, but like John says things that are just almost, I don't use this word lightly, but like almost prophetic. It's just beautiful. Yeah. It is wise. It is so good.
We're definitely not getting any Ben-ators from John Batiste.
Nope, probably not. Not a lot of those. But you gotta have the salt and the pepper.
Not all on my level, Brad.
Another film I was assigned was a film called.
Wait, real quick. Notice that you said you had a lot of praise for him. Said that one of the most generous, giving people you've ever met, and somehow I was left off that list.
You're on that list.
But also, he didn't like list anybody else. He just mentioned that John Batiste was one of them.
Yeah, like he's just kind and like he just seems.
Well, yeah, it was a list of one.
Yeah,
I just.
But he didn't say, "Hey, here's
the final list."
Yeah,
it's like
he didn't say, "Hey, here's a list of 10 people who I think are the most generous," and then leave you off of it.
Could have been
like,
a list.
This guy is on the list of however many people, but I will put him on the list.
Yeah.
Like,
all right, well, you know,
I feel like there's a lot of vulnerability coming out right now. What happened?
Yeah, do you like?
What did I do? What did I say?
Are you just like desperate for praise right now?
No.
What happened? Did somebody say something to you? I'll kill him. Who did it?
Better joke. Just it didn't land. Okay, but
I'm allowed one. It wasn't bad.
He bringing it up like this is the thing now. Like, let's call the title of the episode going to be better. It's terrible. Like, fucking don't do that.
Yes, it's going to be the title of this episode.
That's not what I meant. God damn it. That's not what I fucking meant.
All right, the other film I watched, I was assigned by my friend Brad Oman.
Hold on.
What?
Yeah, wait. We got some house cleaning to do.
Little unfinished.
We've already talked about. I didn't watch the one that Brad assigned or Ben assigned me last time. I still haven't watched it yet. What? But I did watch the one that Brad assigned me.
Wait, you didn't watch Looper?
I haven't had a chance.
What? Are you? No. Okay, now I'm getting mad.
Okay, no. Let me talk.
Let
me talk.
No,
it's my turn.
No,
I have the mic.
I
have the mic.
You have lost your privileges because you watched an entirely different movie.
He did. He actually did. And you know what?
So here's
Nate, I'm on your side. Buddy.
Fuck
you, Nate. You fucking did the same goddamn thing. You fucking piece of shit. I can't believe it. You
okay, so here's the thing, listeners. So I did not have a chance to watch it. I did not have a chance to watch it yet. And I told you last time that I watched about half of it, and I thought, I'm not into this yet. And I know this is a good film. I'm going to be into it. It's just my attitude, my whatever was happening. I went through a divorce. I got a lot of stuff going on in my life right now. And so I did not feel like this was the time to watch it. I did not pick up the film because this last week was really busy for me, and so I didn't have a chance to do it. I want to give Looper the right time and the right respect and the right energy and the right attention when I watch it, instead of just kind of doing what Ben does. He'll watch like 10 minutes of a film and then turn it off and then comes back 10 minutes later and then watches it. It's just a terrible way to watch film. That's the way he does things. It is not the way that Nate Loucks chooses to live his life. And so, listeners, I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know, I will watch Looper, but I did watch another film, and I will talk about that now with my friends. Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome back.
You son of a bitch. You're still not on. They're still not on. Oh, you son of a bitch.
I don't know if I'm going to add Brad back because he seems more angry.
He is angry, and you know what?
Are you there yet, Brad?
Rightfully so.
You watched a movie.
Hold on. Let's just catch the listeners up here, because you might be thinking to yourself, "Wow,
guys,
Ben and Brad were really nice to let Nate give a proper explanation."
Guys, I already counted him up. All right, we've already had this conversation. The listener and I are good. We're good. We're on the right page. We're on the same page.
Nate, shut off our mics. It's the first time he's ever pulled a power move like this, and frankly,
hey,
I respect it.
When you produce the
but also, fuck you.
You can hear us in the background. There's no way that his mic didn't pick up my screaming.
Sure, but
like seriously.
But at the same time,
the listeners talk to me about that. They're a little mad. You need to be quiet.
When?
Wait, when?
When? What?
Right now, I've got a feed.
My God! You watched a whole stupid documentary about John Baptiste. And
Baptiste,
whatever, and yet
he's not like John the Baptist.
Yeah, he's a prophet, right?
No, he's not wearing like camel hair or anything. He's a musician.
Camel hair a common trait of prophets?
I mean, John the Baptist wore camel hair.
Okay. Here's the thing, Nate.
I'm out of my depth right now, Brad.
Go
ahead. Go ahead. I don't know.
He failed his catechism.
I'm not quite sure that John the Baptist wore camel hair. You know what, Brad? Take him from there, buddy.
Nate, here's the thing. I understand you. Hey, Brad. I understand you don't have you have a busy schedule. You got a lot going on and all that stuff. Hey, Brad. This is the worst recovery of a failed assignment we've had on the podcast ever. We're going on over 3 weeks now because we had a break.
I think it's actually been about 5 weeks.
Yeah,
it really has.
So like,
I'll get to it. Guys.
No. Here's the
depression thing. I get it.
Guys.
But you've
had a couple good weeks though.
Guys.
This is like
I've got a life.
This is like if
I've got things to do.
Yeah, like watching Looper.
I will watch Looper when I'm in the right emotional
That's not
space.
how assignments work.
I will watch.
You know how many fucking movies you have given us that aren't in the best
I give you
place for us for our emotional space?
I give you great films. All right.
You know how many movies you give me about dead fathers?
Brad, hold on.
Because you have a dead father, I thought you would resonate with those.
I want to step in here a little bit because Nate and I both, went through a little bit of a depressive.
It was a hard.
Sure, but I didn't.
I know.
I didn't assign you the breakup after that happened.
But Nate did.
Hey, Brad.
Nate assigned me like the weatherman.
That's what I'm saying.
He did that to me.
Yes.
We're not doing that to you. Looper is a great film. It's a fun film.
Nobody even gets a divorce in Looper.
Okay, but here's the thing: would you rather me watch Looper and think I'm just not into this? But I told you this before, Ben, and actually, off the podcast, you agreed with me.
Well,
I told you. Listen,
there's a bit of a limit.
There's a statute of limitations.
Yeah, there's a time limit, buddy.
I'm gonna. Okay,
Nate, I need you to admit that when we had that conversation about what you needed, I agreed, but it was all based on previously. Previously, you were not in a good headspace. You had admitted at the end of that conversation, and now I'm feeling better, and I can't wait to watch this film. Is Brad still off?
Brad, I don't know if I'm going to put you back on.
So
I'm not even being as loud as Ben was. Ben is the one who's being worse. And the thing is you specifically told us you were going to watch Looper. So, like, it's not even something where, like, we're forcing you into it. You said you were going to.
I will watch Looper because you guys won't shut up when I'm talking to the listeners of this podcast. They deserve our respect, all right? They are.
And what do they come here to listen to?
Mitch is taking his time to listen to this podcast.
And you're right, Nate, you're right. They deserve our respect, and the respect comes from watching the assigned films.
And I did. I watched a film called Saving Silverman.
Didn't watch Looper, though.
I did.
You know what? I guess, you know what? To me, all that says is, I don't matter. So thanks, buddy.
All right, here.
No, it's fine, it's
what
fine.
I'll do. What I'll
You know
do.
what? I can't talk about my movies I saw this week because Brad already talked about two TV shows.
You know what?
And
Also,
now you get to talk about your.
Also, we
fucking
can't talk about that because we've spent 20 minutes talking about this crap. I am the one.
It was the same.
that I have to level with our listeners.
But it was the
because
same.
they rely on me to be the rational one.
Like you said, two things.
No, but
that were
because
the
you guys
same.
keep on saying you're
There's
not
like
listening.
four things.
You're not listening. That's the problem. I've been
we
talking.
heard.
No, I've been talking to your parents about this. You guys don't listen.
You literally just met my mom for the first time.
She
2
was
weeks ago.
delightful too. I really like her.
You saw her for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but she's nice.
She's very nice.
I had lunch with Seal Konowitz this week.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was there too, so it's not weird.
Well, Nate's on the dating scene now. So
My mom is looking.
Tim's getting up there.
Yeah, he's 70 now.
Yeah. So how was Looper, Nate?
How was Looper?
It's fine.
How was Saving Silverman?
It wasn't great. It's not a great film.
Did you laugh?
Like very, very little.
Did you laugh at my favorite scene? The only thing I remember about that?
What is it?
It's the nacho scene.
Yes.
No, but if you hold it together, it's one
It's
nacho.
one nacho.
Yeah.
It's one nacho.
It's great.
That's fine.
It's one of the best lines in the movie.
I bet I would have laughed.
It's probably the
I bet I
only-
would have laughed at this
No,
more in
there's some really
college.
funny lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. This is a
No,
very
it's my
stupid,
turn to
silly
talk.
movie.
It is not a good
Yeah,
film.
actually, I will defend Nate here. It's his movie. You can't start defending it before he's actually talked about it.
So, you
It's
know,
true.
There's been a lot of preempting here.
Sometimes my friend Brad gets mad at little like just things that don't work out in a film. That things like details that don't work out. And there's
he
a
does
detail.
nitpick a bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's a nit that I want to pick in this film that bothers me.
Sure.
So, the three main characters of this film are the great Steve Zahn, Jack Black, and Jason Biggs, who is probably at this point big mania, right? I mean, he's American Pie. He's doing all these great films, and actually, Jason Biggs is one of my favorite parts about this. He's just a delightful guy. I like Jason Biggs. The problem with this is they're supposed to be classmates, right? They're supposed to be friends from high school, and they're very clearly in different generations. I looked it up. Steve Zahn was born in 1967. He was 34 years old when this film was made. Jack Black was born in 1969. He was 32 years old, and he looks 32. Actually, he looks 35 in this. Jason Biggs was 23 when they made this film in 1978. Those three don't work. Why would you cast...
I never questioned it though. Did you?
I know, because you don't like look at film
So-
with a critical eye like I do.
However,
You motherfucker.
it's very true. I've known this for a while. I didn't actually want to say anything, Brad. In this specific movie,
It drives me crazy. It drove me crazy the whole film.
I do think it works a bit
It does not work.
to that favor though, because both Jack Black and Steve Zahn's characters are losers, and so like if they're
Okay, but they're clearly
even if they're
old in
older
this.
than him, and the movie says they're all supposed to
He
be
was
classmates.
mid-30s. Steve Zahn, mid-30s making this film.
I still feel like because they're both slackers, I bought into the whole like,
Yeah.
oh, they're losers, and that's why they, even if they look more mature, they're not more mature.
And Jason Biggs has always felt like he's like an
kid.
old soul in like
He's a
a
kid.
kid's body.
He's a kid.
yeah, but he looked like a kid. He has a baby
Looks like-
face.
yeah.
He's the only one in there that had a baby face.
He's
Steve
still-
Zahn had wrinkles.
Jason Biggs still has a baby. face.
Jack Black had wrinkles. They were old. Like they were old when they made the film. They were in their 30s, mid-30s.
Just didn't bother me. Like
Well, yeah, when you were 20 and saw this film, I don't think
doesn't
you were
bother me
thinking about
since.
that. Yeah.
I've rewatched Saving Silverman several times and doesn't bother me.
What do you love about this film?
I just love that it's just unapologetically silly. Steve Zahn is my favorite part. I love
great.
seeing him in a role like this because he's just so ridiculous and goofy. Just especially when he's like yelling out of anger at Jack Black in frustration. There's so many lines in here. Just the way he says them absolutely crack me up.
So Scott Grimes could take a lesson from Steve Zahn on yelling.
Oh, for sure.
So this came out at the same time that or in a year difference than Orange County. Have you guys seen Orange County?
Oh yeah, Colin
Yeah.
Hanks.
Colin Hanks, Jack Black. Such a better film than this.
Oh, for sure. But like,
Well, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same.
They weren't
They're
trying for the
both
same thing.
comedies. They're
Orange County.
No,
Orange
no,
County.
no.
Orange County has like
It's an indie vibe.
They're silly.
and coming of
Jack
age.
Black is silly in
Saving
Orange
Silverman.
County.
Saving Silverman is like a dumb screwball comedy.
Right, and Orange County is like if A24 existed back then, they would have tried to do that.
Orange County feels like a Sundance movie. Saving Silverman.
It's
is,
not a Sundance film.
But if compared to Saving
I
Silverman,
mean,
it does.
because I mean, any film compared to this,
It does
right?
feel like a very independent film compared to like a studio, shitty comedy like Saving Silverman.
I just didn't find the even like it was.
Also, let's not forget that Clerks was a Sundance movie.
Clerks is a good film.
Fine.
Right,
What,
I know.
what are you doing?
I know. I'm saying like Sundance isn't like reserved exclusively for like.
So you named the one movie
But
that's a straight up comedy in Sundance like
no,
30 years?
they came together as a Sundance movie.
Yeah, 2. Okay, cool. Most of them are like, it's a frozen lake and my dad died and I feel bad.
See, that's just the vibe that indie films generally.
Yes, and they're all terrible,
but
and then
that's
there are
not-
like 5 good ones a
Oh,
year,
my
but
God.
we're subjected to watch 100 of them to get to like the cream of the crop. Just that's why I wait till the year's
Everything
end.
you just said is the same thing about action movies.
Yeah, so we wait till the year's end and we pick the best 5.
Fucking idiot.
I also didn't find the characters very sympathetic. Like I didn't feel so. Amanda Pete's the villain here,
I'm not
right?
sure I ever thought I would hear this about Saving Silverman.
No, but like there are comedies where you're like, oh, I like these characters together. Orange County is one of them. The Lovable Losers. I forget who his friends are. I don't know who those actors are, but they're in the van and they want to go surfing all the time with him. They're lovable losers and they're characters that I cared about, even though they've got no future and stuff like this. And you get why Colin Hanks loves them. Steve Zahn and Jack Black they're not lovable really.
No, they're just idiots. And like,
Yeah,
but
they're just idiots. So it's like, so
I don't always
Jason
need to care
Biggs
about those
is
characters, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and they're idiots. Amanda Pete's awful. She's not great.
Of course.
And so it's just, I don't know. I just didn't find the development of the film that great.
For me, this is.
I know you love it, but I wanted to love it.
But for
I
me,
really did.
it's just one of those movies where like it's a comedy where I don't need to care about those things, and
Sure.
so like it's like those things don't bother me. Like there are certain kinds of comedies where like I take them like at face value, and like I like the silly screwball elements about them, and I don't necessarily dig deeper, than that as far as like character motivation and like and all that kind of stuff. So like,
Says the guy that doesn't like Super Troopers.
Or Rat Race.
I don't
like Rat Race.
I don't dislike Super Troopers. I don't think it's as great as everyone thinks it is.
Do you think that Super Troopers is not as funny as Saving Silverman?
Super Troopers is better than Saving Silverman.
It's
We'd
by
all agree.
far.
We'd all agree.
I
The
think
more
Super
funny movie.
Troopers is more
By far.
I think is more clever than Saving Silverman, but I laugh more at Saving Silverman.
That's insane to me.
It is.
That makes me question your taste in
It's
comedy.
mostly because I like Steve Zahn and Jack Black more than anybody
Sure,
on the cast
but
of
the
Broken
jokes
Lizard.
in Super Troopers are tremendously better.
There was also just dumb stuff. Like it wasn't even silly. It was just dumb. Like I
think what I like about it is that
Amanda Detmer. She plays the Sandy Perkis character,
Mm-hmm.
the one that Jason Biggs ends up falling in love with, and or he's in love with her the whole time, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But he ends up getting together with her. But
wow, spoiler.
she's like, I joined the circus and I fell in love with like that's just such a dumb part.
Yeah.
And then my brother, Wolf Boy or something, we thought we were gonna have to put him down for rabies. It's just that's a dumb line. It's just such a dumb little like.
I think
mini
for me,
plot
what
there.
I like about
I
it
hated
is
that part.
it's reminiscent of comedies in the 80s where they didn't try to adhere much to like screenplay rules or like the traditions of storytelling. It was kind of just like a free for all of like just random weird things. Like if you go back and you watch,
Okay, that's great. Wayne's World is a great example of that. That is, there's a ton of randomness in Wayne's World.
but Wayne's World also still follows a very familiar screenplay structure.
Yeah, but there's a lot of weirdness in it still, though.
But
a lot of side weirdness.
But but weirdness that like has inspiration elsewhere though. Like that's not the best comparison because Wayne's World is like an anomaly in the comedy world. Like that's one of the greatest comedies of all
But
time.
all you're saying is like, hey, I love it when they say something that doesn't make sense and pulls me out of the narrative of the universe they've built, but I'm expected to, I guess, go along with it because it's dumb fun.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it was
honestly.
but Seth MacFarlane is a king of this. He does this really well in all of the things he makes, where he does these little side things that are really funny. This was not funny though. It just wasn't good.
Yeah,
Like,
what this is
No.
this is like what you're saying is like I respect parody because Airplane, it does not exist.
Again, we're
in
talking
Newport-
about one of the greatest movies of all time.
Exactly, but no, these are parody movies.
But you told me this is one of the greatest
when-
I
films.
never remotely
when
said
that works, it
I even
works
said
well.
I even specifically said I think this is not a good movie, but it's very funny.
But you do love this.
But you're
yeah.
over here defending it like it's like, well, actually, because if you think about his brother being the wolf and they have to put him down for rabies, I just love the fact that went nowhere and did nothing for the film.
No,
And I will say this:
it
there are
made me
bad
laugh.
films in this
Yes.
era.
Yeah, I
There
love
are bad
stuff like that in this movie.
Like I love American Pie. It is not a good film. I love it still. I think probably, I don't know what it has in Rotten Tomatoes, but it's probably under 30%. This is
Probably not great.
Yeah, this is like 15 or 20%. I forget what it is.
19%.
Yeah, not a good movie. Just hilarious.
So I get it. I
Not a
get
good
loving
movie,
these
just a
types of films.
hilarious one.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I think it's very funny.
But Orange County is a better film. It's a better comedy.
Yeah, I would never deny that.
Okay. I just wanted to go on record for that.
All right, Brado.
So that's what I see.
Brad, did you want to talk about your assigned movie or?
Did you not? You talked about so
I
many
didn't.
movies.
Oh, I didn't. I forgot
My
about that.
word.
I saw Hit and Run and it was fine.
Cool. So I watched Avengement, which is a
That's not a real movie.
It's a movie.
This is a movie that you made up to
It's a movie on Netflix.
This is a Predator movie you wrote when
Nope.
you were in the shower.
It's a
one
movie
time.
on Netflix. I searched
Avengement.
Yep. I searched for the most underrated revenge movies, and this popped up, and I'm like, this can't be
Is
good.
it a foreign film?
It's British. It's not necessarily.
Hello. Was there a lot of that?
There was a
Hello.
lot of that. It's like a Guy Ritchie.
Oi, we're the Avengers, mate.
It's a Guy Ritchie knockoff with the Skeet Ulrich to Johnny Depp, Jason Statham.
Scott Adkins?
Yep.
Who is
Oh, I
this
know
guy?
Scott Adkins.
Adkins,
Yeah.
yep.
Who is this?
He's a good actor, actually.
Is he? What has he
as far as
done?
action is concerned.
No.
Other than Avengement.
He can kick some. I mean, that's the thing. The action scenes are incredible. Like it's a movie about a brother that's in kind of like this kind of mafioso loan sharking business.
This has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's so like
How many reviews?
the
2. 19.
Oh, okay.
but still there is enough good about this where you're going, all right, this guy, he's playing a character where he gets caught up with his brother and he's always been his brother's shadow. His brother does him dirty. He gets sent to prison and he becomes a tough guy. Like he was like a boxer, but when he goes to prison, he gets sent to like the most horrific prison in Britain or whatever. And he spends a year there. His brother puts a bounty on his head for 20 grand to kill him. So he gets curb stomped. So he's got these veneers that are metal, and he just has to endure brutalization for like fucking years. He finally breaks out of prison, and he confronts his brother in a pub, and he just starts telling stories about what he had to do to survive for like 7 years while he waits for his brother to get there, because eventually he's going to kill. And everybody, I think the saving grace of this movie is everyone in this film that is part of his life before he breaks through the door thinks of this guy as like this little wuss that like, oh, yeah, he's a boxer. He's kind of tough, but like, man, what a sycophant. Like he was always trying to just, hey brother, can I just, and when he comes back out, he's this hardened fucking killer who is in prison, murdered like 3 or 4 people, been stabbed multiple times, been just beaten. Every ounce of him is now just, I want to kill, and nobody recognizes them. So then when he comes in and locks the door at this pub and traps all these mafioso people in here, they're not taking him seriously. And so he knows this, and he starts like, spoiler alert, shoots a guy's head off with a shotgun, and blood splatters everywhere. And it's this insane thing. It was fun to watch. Not a great movie, but fun to watch those scenes specifically. It was awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
It's on
This
Netflix.
director is interesting, Jesse V. Johnson. He does all these films with like, I see here, he did a film in 2022 that's on AMC Plus called White Elephant with Michael Rooker, Bruce Willis, Olga Kurylenko, he works with John Malkovich a ton. So if you ever wonder where John Malkovich is, he's
Working
in
with this guy.
Jesse Johnson films. But he does these films with these kind of formerly A-list guys,
Like John Voight's in the next
one, and makes somewhat decent films with them somehow.
It was crazy because there was enough to like about it where I was engaged the whole time, and I respected especially that, like I said, the fight scenes were incredible. But when he's sitting on the bar stool drinking a pint and telling these stories, I'm like, oh boy, this could use some work. But when the actual action scenes happened, it was fantastic.
It's on Netflix?
I think I got it on Netflix. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like hour 30,
Yeah, it's starring no one I know.
Yeah. Scott Adkins and no one else.
That's it.
There you
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
What else did you watch?
What were you saying?
go. I watched, before my assignment, I watched Sympathy for the Devil.
Oh, I was supposed to interview Nicolas Cage and Joel Kinnaman for this together, and then the strike happened.
So this is not a good movie. It is a very bad movie.
Has it 58% on Rotten Tomatoes for 79
everyone that
critics?
likes it, it's wrong.
Oh boy.
Okay.
But Cage.
Well, yeah, how is Nick? How's Nick?
Unhinged Cage is, of course, like it's watchable because of that,
Yeah.
right? I love watching Unhinged Cage, but there's like I will spoil the entire film because I don't want you to watch this. Don't watch it. Watch A History of Violence.
Is that what this is trying to be?
Yes. This is a C or maybe D list knockoff of A History of Violence. When Nicolas Cage holds hostage Joel Kinnaman's character when Joel Kinnaman is at the hospital to watch his son or daughter be born, and instead Nicolas Cage is in the backseat, puts a gun to his head and says "drive," and then they go, and the entire movie is Nicolas Cage like, "Oh, you're gonna act like you're somebody you're not, huh?" And it finally gets to the point where like, "Yep, it's him," but the whole time with the title "Sympathy for the Devil," there were a few scenes in this movie early on where Nicolas Cage said something to him while he was driving that only Joel's character was thinking, and so it made it sound like or think like maybe he is the devil, maybe he is actually able to hear his thought, because there were a few things, but no, just a guy just guessing, just guessing right.
Guessing.
Like I'm like, okay, well that paid off nothing, and then at the end,
So was it disappointing?
It was terribly disappointing. Because honestly, if
What makes you think he's not the devil?
no, because he
because
fucking
they say he's not the devil.
because the thing that makes me feel like he's not the devil is that he admits that he's just a guy that knows him from back in the day and was come to kill him, and they were supposed to drive to that guy's house to get murdered,
Ben.
just like William Hurt's house
Ben.
in fucking History of Violence. But instead, Josh Kimmergen's character, whatever, stomps on his face and shoots him and actually kills him.
Ben, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled.
Oh my!
was convincing
God.
people that he didn't exist.
This
So-
is so dog shit. This is so dog shit. It's not good.
I don't know. It sounds like
I was so disappointed because it was this whole build up. I'm like, something good's gonna happen. Nope. Tables
Had you-
turned.
Well, I'm sorry for
Had you-
assigning that film for you.
had you heard of Sympathy for the Devil before you decided to watch it?
I watched the trailer. I think maybe we watched the trailer.
Actually, I'm reading a lot of reviews
Did
of
we?
this right now, and people. No, we didn't review this, but there's a lot of people praising Nicolas Cage's performances here.
And again, I said that's why I wasn't mad at the whole film. When you're watching it and you think there's a build up to something,
he is unhinged.
he's unhinged in the best
and
way.
People say he's really good. in
He's
this.
doing the whole whoa, like fucking crazy Cage shit, which I signed up for. What I didn't
Which
sign
I'm
up
here
for
for, yeah.
is when nothing matters and it's just you were who I said you were the whole time, and I'm just gonna kill you. Okay, cool, and nothing
Yeah.
happens.
So the plot of the film is just not good.
It's just terrible. It's just terrible.
I'm gonna watch it.
You should, and I hope you love it, so that you can tell me why I'm wrong. Like, oh, cool. Because I sat down, and within the first 15 minutes, in my head, I go, oh, he is the guy that Nicolas Cage thinks he is. This is History of Violence.
was this
and I was
released
hoping
in the theater?
whole time that maybe
I think he got like a limited release, but I think it was primarily VOD.
I was like, they can't just do that again. There has to be some twist, and yet no twist.
well, it's not as if History of Violence was the first movie to ever do that.
But it's so paint by numbers, though. Like, it's so simple. Like, because again, Brad, I think you can admit I'm not the most astute movie viewer.
Hey,
Film viewer.
stop it!
And so
Stop it!
sometimes I watch films and then
You're
like
fine.
when the twist happens, like, oh shit. But if even I'm able to tell within the first
no,
15 minutes,
you've seen enough movies where like I think
especially this kind
you're-
of film,
yeah,
you have seen a lot.
I think you're
of
pretty
these.
good about that.
It
I would
was
say. I would say when it comes to like art house movies and stuff like that, you don't maybe always like pick up everything they're putting down because like
I wouldn't say
you have a hard
you're-
time connecting emotionally with those kinds
You're
of
an
movies.
astute
but
musical film watcher.
well, you're trying to make me win sometimes. But no,
you're not really astute when it comes to comedy.
oh fuck you. Yeah, Saving Silverman, the just Palme d'Or or whatever.
First of all, Sylvie Silverman would never ever be up for the Palme d'Or.
Oh well,
It's a-
Clerks. I don't know. Clerks was, and it was a comedy. So
No, Clerks were the Sundance. That's not where the Palme d'Or is from. Palme d'Or is from Cannes. So your film
I think he
festivals.
means cans.
so he can. Anyway, Sympathy Devil, go fuck yourself.
Can I have a timeout here? Because I want an industry question that maybe you know. You said this is released on VOD.
Yeah.
According to the Wikipedia, I'm sure it made maybe slightly more than this, but it made $150,000.
Sure.
This film was produced partially by Nicolas Cage. I'm sure it had a budget of what, $5 million or something to make this film.
Oh yeah, this is almost like Locke. They're in the car 80% of the time.
Okay, so if you're releasing on VOD, how do you recoup this money?
Well, I mean,
Like, because I've noticed there's a lot. I watch like movie releases and stuff like this, and there's a lot of films that just get a VOD release, and I'm not talking like Netflix or anything. I'm talking like just VOD rentals, and they can't be making that money back at all.
no, I mean, and so some of it is like you won't make your entire budget back on VOD alone, but what you might make it back for is like licensing rights for when it's on cable, when it's on network TV. You know, when
It's the long game a little bit.
if it's available on a plane or something like that. Anytime a movie is available anywhere, there's like a separate licensing fee for that.
And this might be on Netflix next year. It might be on Netflix in 6 months, right?
And so, and sometimes, a lot of times, if you see a movie and it's getting a VOD only release, that's either because the company that made it doesn't have enough money to give it a proper distribution, or they couldn't find a big distributor to actually give it a full release.
Which is harder and harder now, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's right. I was just thinking, like, a film like this that has two major stars in it that are going to require some money to get in the film. Obviously, Nicolas Cage did
and
produce it.
besides those two, there aren't really. There's
the cast doesn't look big at all, so they saved some money there. But like, how it's going to be at least a couple $1 million to make this film. How are you going to on VOD get that money back? And this isn't the only film. I see these all the time where films are just released on VOD. They're not. Apple TV didn't buy them. But Hulu didn't buy them. I
also feel like we are maybe underestimating the number of people, maybe like me, that see Josh and Nick are starring.
So you did pay to rent this?
Oh, I rented it. Yeah, and the number of people that see like the new Nicolas Cage film and they remember that.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it might be in the $1 million to $2 million range of that. You know, the first few weeks that it's out, and by the way, Apple's really good about that. Here's the top 100 now. They've changed it where your store and your purchases are different.
Yeah.
They just changed it like about.
You said you've been buying things that you didn't know.
They now have a top one. So I'm scrolling.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, number 49, the Marvels, and I tried. I clicked it because like, oh, I didn't know I could, and I couldn't. It's a
good point there too, Brad, to say that. Just because they don't recoup it right away doesn't mean in distribution throughout the history of this film's
exactly.
life they're not going to.
And the studio will obviously, if it's, let's say this is a $3 million budget, and in its life cycle it will generate 2.9. It will almost break even, but it will lose $100,000. That is enough for the studio every single time to take that risk, because every time they do that, the next Nicolas Cage movie that cost $3 million made 80.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna still bank on some bankable stars to do that.
Hey, Benny.
Yeah.
Were you assigned a movie or no?
I did, but I've seen some other things too. So I'm gonna talk about those because fuck Brad. Even though he talked about TV, now we're gonna go 2 hours long. Sorry.
We just want to talk about trailers.
I watched Popstar.
I don't really care about the trailers this week.
I watched Popstar. Never Stop Stopping. I've seen
You've seen this so many times. Why are we talking?
Never stopping.
Is it Never Stop, Never Stopping?
It is.
Why are we talking about this again? You've seen this so many times.
Well, the podcast is about movies we've seen.
But I thought it was supposed to be movies we haven't
No, but like you can bring up movies you've seen if you want to talk about them, about how great they are. And if I know Ben, he's going to want to talk about.
I am okay with talking about how great
is.
this film is.
All I'm saying is, this is a movie I watched.
It is so good.
It's great, still holds up. But we've
what is your favorite part of this?
We've definitely talked about movies we've already seen that we just ended up watching again.
Yeah, I think I did last week actually. So
yeah. Why are you constantly shitting?
I'm still a little mad about what happened earlier, but
join the club, buddy.
Yeah. Well, hey, I feel like kind of we're on a loop.
Oh, hey, is there?
That's a reference you would get if you saw a looper.
I fucking wish that was like a big part of the movie. Hey, I'm Bruce Willis. We're on a loop.
So as you watch this film and you've seen it so many times, is there a new part that you like?
Different things always.
Yeah, is there a new part that you like about it more?
I've seen this movie 11 or 12 times now, honestly. And this is so let's say that this is my 12th viewing, and for the first time ever, I spent more time like paying attention to the catchphrase verse.
Yeah.
Dinky nuts, squirrel chant. Like I really started.
DJ Tanner.
It was so good. Also, what is it? Hunter the Hungry. So when he confronts Connor, when Connor is confused about who maybe did this as a prank, where his dick didn't show up, and maybe it was me. Nah, it wasn't. But then later on, in the movie where he goes, "It was me," I laughed. Like I watched it with Ashley, and we were sitting there, and she's like, pause it. And I paused it, and she goes, why are you, because I was cackling when he goes, it was me. And I went, and she's like, pause it. Why is that funny? I go, because it's like the 15th time I've seen this film, and like that's the first, you do connect with these, different moments in the film. I mean, and again, like Brad, I told you, I just saw Popstar again, and you go, can we get the wolves to be more quiet? Because that's like very no. But they don't say no, they're wolves. He just goes, no. We all know. Also, the when they cut the black and do the bees flame flower scene, it's such a. And I did pause it, and I was like, she doesn't give a shit, but I was like, so this is brilliant writing, and here's why. Because like, it's on another level of like, we don't have the money for this scene, but this is a fun way to do it where we can still do it, and also. Man, I mean, those kind of things in this movie are incredible.
So a cool thing they did, there was an exclusive steelbook release of Popstar that I think Shout Factory did. Shout Factory, they do like limited edition runs of certain movies like on steelbook, and sometimes they have packages that come with like an exclusive poster that's only like available with so many copies of the movie. And I got Popstar because it came with a poster depicting that scene from the movie with like with the bees and everything. It's so
Which,
good.
of course, does not exist
exactly.
in the movie. Yeah, that's fantastic. No, again, holds up. If for some reason you're hearing my voice right now and you've never seen Popstar, Never Stopping, you just shut the podcast off. Go watch it right now. Pull your car over and download it and watch it.
Phenomenal comedy.
It's fantastic. And then I watched Horrible Bosses. Which I haven't seen in a while, and it still is very funny.
Very funny.
It's funny to me because Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell and Jennifer Aniston, Kevin Spacey even, I love it because the main three guys, right, those are the stars of the film. And you've got these significant, at the time, A-list actors and actresses playing these bosses, and I think that's probably why it was so successful. If you had these unknown actors playing those parts, I've seen this film 4 or 5 times. That's probably, I keep leaning into, like, that's why this movie works. Colin Farrell is so good.
Oh my god,
Kevin Spacey's a dick, and you kind of get it, right? Jennifer Aniston is kind of trying to be sexual harassment. I get it, but in this movie, Colin Farrell is the reason why I'm like, they should all die. Like, he's so bad. I fucking love him as the villain. He's it's one of the more perfect villains I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to trim the fat around here. I want you to fire the fat people. And the way he says it, right? Or like he wants to fire the guy in the wheelchair. He's rolling around. He can't even, he's lazy. Like, what? He's so terrible. I love it so much. It was great. It's great.
My, one of my favorite underrated lines is Jason Bateman's delivery when they get arrested, and he's like, "You were drag racing in a Prius. I don't win a lot."
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no, and then I watched About Schmidt, and it was sad. So
sad or no? I mean, it's not sad. It's not sad.
It's
pretty fucking sad.
It is sad, but it's not sad.
It's just like both of you assholes were like, "Yeah, but don't worry." At the end,
first of all, I didn't say
you
that.
did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I think you did.
You did. Go back in the day. You go. Don't worry. Something about like it's redeeming, or like there's some like it's worth it in the end. It's something about like I don't know. It's not. You
didn't like this film?
No, I mean I get it. Right, I like it's a character study, which Nicholson is great.
He's so good at this.
He is. I will never argue about a film like this being good. This movie is good. I get it. Right. It's also insanely sad. And why do you want to watch things like this? This is. This is a guy that
watch sad films.
My work life, the thing I built my entire life, is trash. The relationship I thought I had with my wife and my best friend, well, it turns out he was writing her love letters 30 years ago because they were fucking. Okay, so that's out. Yep. My daughter does not respect me and is with a trash human being, Dylan McDermott.
Right.
And then the redeeming quality is I get to go hang out with this trash family and be uncomfortable the whole time. But then don't worry, I kind of get it at the end.
Yep, he kind of gets it.
But no, he doesn't. It's not a revelation. He's not he changed his life. He just
life doesn't always happen like in like revelations. We just sometimes start making the right changes in life.
Why does anybody want to watch this kind of film?
So I just want to go back and confirm. I did not give you any leading whatsoever that this was going to be an uplifting movie.
What did you say?
I said that one has a sexy scene too.
No.
You'll know it when you see it.
No.
No, I'm dead serious.
By the way, did you like the sexy scene?
No, I knew about it.
Yeah.
I knew Kathy Bates got naked.
No. I literally that's it because
You said more though.
no,
You
I
said-
didn't. I swear to God, those are the only two things I said about Schmidt because Nate is the one who like went on a whole list of like what it is and who's in it and everything. The only thing that I said was a joke about the sexy scene. I didn't say anything else about Schmidt.
I remember feeling that this character that is, I don't want to say morally depraved, but certainly down on his luck and not a great person either. I mean, some of these things were like, you get why his life is in shambles. I felt like at the end he was starting to see a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of like light, a little bit of clarity. Clarity is maybe the word.
And that's the thing. Like, again, I understand that this is a movie that like the character
It's not resolved at the end, though. That's for sure.
But it shouldn't in this movie. Like, if the character literally was like, you know what, I'm gonna go fuck Kathy Bates and start my life over, it would have been weird. For the whole narrative, the driven narrative of the entire film is that he is this person, and I never wanted to get away from that because I did enjoy his performance, and it would have been awkward and stilted if they just jumped into something different.
And just like summed it up at the end real.
However, it doesn't mean that it was like at all redeeming or uplifting. Like, it was just, it ended.
Ben, are you worried about becoming Schmidt?
Man, I don't know why. Like, I'm like you
Do you feel like this is me giving you a dead dad movie for Brad?
A wake up call.
the weatherman and about Schmidt? You're like, hey, this is your life now, Ben. I want you to watch movies. And hey, by the way, never gonna get better. But also, towards the end of your life, you'll be like, hey,
Ben,
it's not as bad as I thought.
Hey Ben, we're not even recording tonight. Actually, this whole
This
podcast
is an
has been to
intervention.
get to this point. We're worried about you. All right,
No, I'm worried about you because you give me these movies that are so just depressing.
And then you don't even watch the movie you're supposed to watch.
About Schmidt is not.
I know.
It's a good movie, but it's not. It's not uplifting. It's not.
Why does film have to be uplifting?
I want to. I don't know.
I think maybe just Ben is just hoping for you to give him a little bit of hope.
Anything, just something I can
I
actually
give you
enjoy.
musicals. Musicals are hopeful, and you don't like them.
I'm not sure that Fiddler is the most uplifting thing that you've ever.
That is an exception.
I said that kind of trepidation, like maybe I'm missing something.
No, that
I'm
one
sure
is.
that Fiddler is.
That's-
but then again, I don't know musical theater.
It's a little Holocaust,
maybe,
but like
maybe there's something I'm missing.
You know what, Nate? Les Mis is coming back to theaters. Why don't you assign that to
I have
Ben?
not given him Les Mis. I specifically have not given
They're
him
on a
Les Mis.
ship though, that should
which
be
is
good.
coming.
That's maybe like 10%.
I know. Just say
That's all I know
a
about
very small portion.
I don't know. People on ships are happy,
but
no, they're not. Ben, have you?
There is not a single fucking happy person in Les Mis.
no, literally.
I mean, it's
literally
called, my assumption is
the miserable.
The translation is the miserables, right? I mean, I don't speak French, but like that's
but
kind of the thing.
speaking of Les Mis, it is coming back to theaters.
That's what I just said.
20 years. I didn't hear that, but
Hey, Ben, your next movie, I'm going to assign you The Fucking Depressants. Oh, don't worry. It's not what you think. They're all depressed.
I've given you non-depressing films.
Name the last one.
I don't know what I've given you last films. But I know I have.
Nate can't even keep track of his own assignments. let alone
Yeah, you know what?
yours.
That's a fair question. Or sorry, that's an unfair question, Nate. I should not have asked you that.
What was the
Sorry.
one that I gave you? That
Schindler's List. It was, again, I loved it. It was historically accurate. I enjoyed it, but like, again, buddy.
with Ben, what's his nuts? I gave you that film. It was a good film.
What?
It's about him and his daughter.
Ben, what's his nuts?
Leave No Trace. That's the happiest
That's
movie.
the happiest movie.
It's a happy
You know
one.
what? Again, pretty.
I imagine the daughter went on to have a good life.
I will tell you
Jeez,
right now.
Give Ben some laughs, Nate.
I will tell you, the universe that they built was very believable. Also very sad.
I'm just giving you a picture
What
of
I
my
did-
soul.
what I did-
I want you to be better. Nate, can I talk over here real quick? So just real quick. I love you to death. And do you ever need to talk? Like,
I pay a therapist a lot of money to talk.
I know, but I don't think they are doing a good job. So we should talk about it. Hey, Brad, sorry about that.
I do
Let me
wonder.
say-
I do wonder if in our text thread, what you misconstrued was me saying, "Don't worry, Ben, I'll lift you up," and maybe you thought I said it'll lift you up.
Oh, I actually did kind of just glance at that.
yeah.
So I think that
I was saying I'll lift you up with like the movie that
Sorry.
I give you.
I'm not joking. I literally thought that. I
Yeah.
was like, it'll lift you. I'm like, okay, well, at least at the end.
No.
And then I was waiting for that, and then it didn't happen. I was like, what the fuck is Brad
Fuck
talking
you
about?
guys.
Like, also, I thought maybe the bar is so low for you guys, where like you watch these depressing movies, and like the last part of it is their depression goes from 0 to 0.01.
Well, that's all we can hope for.
Yeah, that's it. Right? Pretty.
I gave you Little Women.
Sure.
That's not sad.
It's half
It's
sad.
half sad. It's a dramedy. More drama than Edie.
Yeah, like at least a character dies in it.
Oh boy.
Oh, Chris Cooper's so sad when he can't go in. He's stuck at the fence and he can't go in.
That's
and
the part that you're
like,
bringing up in your mind that you remember.
Cooper's
so sad.
Oh, he is. He's
So
like, I
sad.
just can't go back into the house. Without
Again,
her knowing
the
that
comedy
she's
I
there.
gave Ben was the part where Chris Cooper was so sad that he couldn't.
He was
do
really
that.
sad in that. That made me cry.
All right, you know what? Now I know what to give you next time. I'm gonna find the saddest.
Don't you
movie.
like to cry in films? Like,
no.
don't you like it when films
No,
make you feel things?
I cry in my real life all the time. I'm so sad all the time. Everything's horrible. The world's on fire. When I watch movies, I want to feel like Eddie the Eagle. I want to feel that way.
Eddie the Eagle's great. I love it.
Actually
It really is.
uplifting.
Baby Driver. Have you seen
Or-
Baby Driver? That's
yes.
fun.
Or something like Revenge, where like if it's that bad, something happens to those bad people.
The Revengers.
I like that. The
You would watch The
Are you
Revengers.
talking about Revenge, the movie Revenge? Or are you talking about Revenge as
No,
a
he's just saying
concept?
like as a
as
trope,
as a genre,
like a
as,
thing.
As
okay.
Alex Trebek was as a genre.
Oh, because there is a good movie called Revenge. You'd probably like it.
I've seen it.
You have?
Yeah.
There's not a film that called Revenge that he has not seen.
Let's
Come
make
on.
sure we're talking about the same movie.
It's the one with Olivia Wilde.
No, that's a different movie.
Which one's that called?
This is a I think it's a Spanish film.
Oh.
And it's about a girl who almost gets killed, but then she ends up surviving, and she tries to kill the men who tried to kill her.
What is the one that I'm thinking of with Olivia Wilde that was a revenge film?
I'm not sure actually.
I don't know, but I've decided the next film I'm going to give you is Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
I've
That is
seen
not
that
sad.
film. I've seen
That is
that
not
film.
sad.
It's just
it
boring.
actually is kind of sad, and
It's very boring.
it is a very dry
It's
spy
so
thriller.
boring.
There's no like I love Gary Oldman, but in that movie I'm like, what are we doing here? I honestly, I don't care. I don't care.
And it has been 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I don't know what we're doing here.
In my soul, I was like, I have to like this.
I went to the theater.
There are so many good people in this, and it seems like it's really well written. I
and I
just
went to
don't
the
care.
theater to see it, and I'm like, that is 2.5 hours I cannot get
Oh,
back
I
in
was
my
so
life.
bored.
It is a slow burn. I would never say it's bad by any means, though. It's like,
Yeah, well, that's the critic in you. You also love Saving Silverman, so I don't know what to think anymore.
are you thinking of a vigilante?
I am.
Okay, that's what the movie is then.
Yep.
Right on. So I will actually talk about Hit and Run because I
Because
respect
you
Ben.
hate Dax Shepard.
I don't. I don't hate Dax Shepard. I don't really get him though. I don't like him.
I don't get why people like him.
No, I do. I get why people like him because everyone says he's one of the nicest guys in show business. He's a very good guy, from what I understand. Like, there's not a mean bone in his body. Kind of like, I understand why he's appealing to people. I just never thought he's very funny, and I don't really like him in movies very much.
Is it because you've got a thing with kind of sports bros, and he's a little bit of like a little bit of a bro?
It's not even that. It's just I've never really liked anything about his delivery. He's never really made me laugh. I don't know what it is. Like,
So I don't know necessarily that Dax Shepard has had a vehicle in which I can
And
point
say,
to
has
to
he ever
say,
had a
like,
great film?
This is the thing that he like where, and I mean this. I don't mean any disrespect because again, I know he's a good person.
Yeah.
Where did he come from? Like, what was the thing? It's like, oh, now he's a movie star.
I think
What are we doing?
I think his quote unquote breakthrough thing.
Hit and Run.
Well, no, he was on
kidding.
Punk. He was on Punked.
Okay.
There's a film that I love that he starred in.
Was it Without a Paddle?
Yes,
Ugh.
freaking love Without a Paddle. It's hilarious.
So yeah, he's had a lot of roles in comedies like
Don't you ever
Without a
judge
Paddle.
freaking Without a Paddle when you gave me Saving Silverman.
Chips. Without a Paddle is trash compared to Saving
Wait,
Silverman.
Without a Paddle is freaking hilarious.
Chips is them like putting like the,
Trying to give Dax Shepard his own 21 Jump
exactly,
Street.
but it
Yeah.
didn't work.
No, the film I think that he got most famous for was Idiocracy, wasn't it?
Yes, that's a good point.
That's fair.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
he's a fucking idiot in that movie. But yeah, I mean, he is though. That's
No, I know, yeah.
everyone is.
But you said it in the way like because
I know.
I don't like him. He's a fucking idiot. And you go, he's a fucking idiot in that movie. That's why.
I know that film.
But no, so
I'm trying to give you a chance here, buddy,
I watched Hit and Run because that's what you assigned, Ben. You gave it to me.
because I like that movie.
Yeah, and I wasn't excited about watching it, but I wanted to give it a fair shake.
48% Rotten Tomatoes, not unlike Saving Silverman at 19.
Right. It's honestly not bad, but I I do think that there's
Better than Chips.
There is a much better movie here because I wish that they had, for all the favors that Dax Shepard called in to get his friends in this movie and to get this movie made, I don't think he called enough of the funny ones to make the script like really pop, because there are like 3 or 4 really great jokes in this movie. Like there was a few hilarious scenes where I was like, oh, that's really funny, but it's the core of the movie. And I respect what he's trying to do here because it's a clever concept, and I wish that it was executed a little bit more.
Just well.
Yeah,
well done.
just well, because like the idea is the premise is that Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell are a couple. They live in this small town. All of a sudden, Kristen Bell, her job is in danger, and she thinks she's going to get fired, but she actually ends up getting a new job, but she has to go to L.A. to get it. And so Dax Shepard is willing to move with her, even though he's not necessarily psyched about it, because he has some kind of history in L.A. And you don't really know what it is. You slowly find it out in like the first 30 minutes of the movie, and it's that he was in witness protection. He turned in his friends after they got fingered for a bank robbery that went wrong and somebody got killed. And so he testified against them, and he's been under a different name ever since. And Kristen Bell doesn't know any of this. So when she finds all this out, it's kind of like a big thing. She doesn't trust him anymore. And there's a lot of great relationship dynamics between the two as characters. It just never felt like it was really like honed well enough in the script to like actually fill out the time that it takes up. And on top of that, even though Dax Shepard, so Dax Shepard is a very passionate person when it comes to cars and stuff like that. He actually used a lot of his own cars in this movie to make it. He has an extensive car collection. The main Black Lincoln in this movie is his, and he, because this was an independent production that only cost like $2 million, he and almost everyone else did a lot of their own stunt driving. Because of that, the stunt driving sequences themselves aren't particularly exciting or suspenseful. Yeah, like there's a sequence where like it's supposed to be like this big chase, and it ends in a big airfield where there's like no real danger of like running into anything or like anything like that. And it's supposed to be,
Brad, I don't know if you know this, but he used his own cars for the film. So I don't, you don't really know a lot about movies, but when it's a low budget and you have to use your own cars, you don't really want to subject them to things like a Bourne movie where they have to go downstairs, or you need like 19 Lincoln Continentals.
It does hold back a movie though that's called Hit and Run and supposed to be.
Yeah, the movie's called Hit and Run. It's not called Open Air and Not.
But yeah, no, I did like what he was shooting for here, and I wish that like he would have had the money to pull it off a little bit better, that he had a little bit sharper of a script. But I didn't dislike it, and there are some really funny bits in it. The best one, because it comes out of nowhere too, is they're pulling into like a motel to like rest after driving part of the way to Los Angeles, and they walk into the wrong room, and it's just like a 4-person old people orgy, and they're just like sitting there naked, and they're like, oh my god, what the fuck was that? And then later, when Bradley Cooper is coming after them, because he's the villain in the movie, they walk into the same room by accident because they think that he's in there, and so it happens again. Bradley Cooper is particularly good in this movie, though, because he plays just this asshole crime guy who's got dreadlocks, and he has a great moment where he gives like a speech to this guy who's in the grocery line with him. It's this big black guy, and he's like, listen, man, he's like, I don't know if you want to buy that food for your dog. He's like, because it's like it's just made with a lot of chemicals, it's not really good for him. And like the guy gets pissed at him and gets in his face, and he's like okay, you know, I'm sorry, I just care, you know, about the dog. And so he goes out, and then all of a sudden like he hooks the guy with a leash and like drags him, and like is like slamming dog food in his mouth and everything. And this was the bit of cleverness that I wish they would have been able to like fit into like the movie elsewhere, because so much of it felt like it was like Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell acting out like a lot of real relationship squabbles,
which probably because they were in a relationship when they did this.
Yeah, well, and I read that actually part of it, the movie itself, was kind of inspired by the dynamic that they had when he was still dealing with his addiction struggles, and how she didn't trust him because of that, and like that's kind of what he injected in this movie.
What works in the movie, right?
It feels authentic, but the script itself,
the rest of it,
is
hard.
But so Bradley Cooper, he's talking to him, and he's because he threatens a guy with a gun to eat more dog food or else he's gonna shoot him, and like he says no, and he's like, this is what I'm talking about, man. He's like, I just threatened to kill you unless you eat some more of this dog food, and you won't even eat it, but you're gonna give that to your dog. How fucking profound is that? And so like he's crazy, but like that's hilarious too.
But we've talked about this 1,000 times over. The best part about a lot of films is the villain.
Yeah.
And so if you can, And honestly, Bradley Cooper's villain right there is not wrong.
No, yeah.
You know, and so that when the villain is not wrong necessarily, you kind of do side with them and you believe a little bit more, and it makes a more effective film. So even though this film is insane and stupid, in that moment, that's a real moment where you're like, well, I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
It's just a dick. Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine. I wish it was a little bit better.
Interesting about this is Roger Ebert gave this a 3.5 out of 4 stars. Richard Roeper gave the film an F. It is a film that either people like or they do not.
Yeah.
So why are you in the middle of the road about it, Brad? Do you love it or hate it? I love it.
No, you like it. What I was getting,
Again, what
you
I
like
just
the
said,
film.
like, no, Nate. People either love it or hate it, and Ray goes, it was fine.
I think it was better than fine, right?
50%?
It was fine.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
Brad is a...
You said to
Nate
call...
goes, it's either people either love it or hate
seems
it.
like
Brad's
it, like in the
it was fine.
reviews, it seems it is literally the audience score is 48 and the critic score is like 48.
48.
Like
Yep.
it is. Like,
It is fine.
yeah. But
No,
you said to call
what
it.
that means is people either love it or they hate it.
Yeah,
and you're
I
like,
mean-
no, there was a lot of good and bad about the film. Do you love it or hate it?
Neither.
So
See,
you said calling your friends. He did, right? I mean, there's a lot of
No, he literally everybody
like-
in this movie is like either a friend of his or a friend of Kristen Bell's.
Yeah, Sean Hayes, Jason Bateman, Bo Bridges, Ryan Hansen, David Koechner, Bradley Cooper.
Who is Sean Hayes in this movie?
He's Sandy Osterman.
It's a who's why.
Is there a scene that I missed?
It was a pretty good joke, but
Yeah, that's
who's why.
very good. That's very
Okay.
good. But no, it literally is just Dak Shepard like bringing in
Sure.
him and Kristen
Well,
Bell's friends.
and my assumption is this is his shot, right? He's like, I'm going to have the opportunity to make a feature film, and I need my friends to help me,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's it. We made this just a big long discussion one, and a lot of it is because Nate went on his big diatribe and
Cut our mics.
I will cut you so quickly again.
I know.
and it's just one of those episodes where we honestly weren't super jazzed about the trailers we were going to talk about anyway, and we would have talked about that, but now we won't.
Now we won't.
Now
And one of them was going to be a TV series, and Ben got really kind of pissy about it. So
It did. It's fair.
Ben gets pissy about a lot of things these days, though.
like you don't watch a movie, he assigns you, and all of a sudden he's mad.
Well, that's right.
Well,
right.
I was gonna say, Brett,
You're talking to the wrong person
really,
about
really,
this. Nate.
really barking up the wrong tree there. Also, I watched the first stupid James Franco Planet of the Apes movie.
Oh yeah, Rise of the Planet of the
Yeah.
Apes.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
I liked it on Lithgow. It was fine.
Yeah,
No, I like it.
the first one's fine. They get infinitely better, and I'm very excited.
Yeah,
to hear
it is a
I
series
did
that actually
finally
gets better.
recommit to doing this. Brad's been talking about this for a while. That they're better than
I
I
just
thought.
recently rewatched them as well.
So I'm gonna do this. I'm committing this week. I'm gonna watch both of the next ones.
I'm very excited to hear what you think of Dawn of the Planet
and
of
I'm
the Apes.
taking them seriously. I
and
don't
War
want.
for the
I'm
Planet
not
of
going to have that chip on my shoulder. I really am going to.
I am
watch
excited to see this new.
them, to like give them that
trailer,
lens
so.
that they need to have. Okay,
Yeah, I think that's good.
Is there anything coming out this weekend that I need to see?
the
This-
Beekeeper.
No, The Beekeeper's already out.
Yeah, it's already out. It's got decent reviews.
we
It
should
came out
see
this
it.
past weekend.
That's all I'm saying.
I actually don't really remember what's coming out this week. But
All right, well, that's fun. Thank you so much for listening to this extended episode of Go Flix Yourself. Nate, I love you, buddy.
I don't feel like you do sometimes.
Well, when you got my mic, I get really upset. Brad,
I'll do it again.
I love you, buddy.
yeah, I love you all, especially when we're
Bye,
doing this
everybody.
podcast.
Bye.
Nah, cheating, eh?